no, that's not what we're going to
So
do.
their job
But
won't be at stake.
it should not be at stake in the ideal setting because
But
they
is
should be
it?
supporting them. That's a very tricky question. Well, for some companies, a lot of companies that we work with, they've been very, very fantastic. They support them, give them time off, and they'll come back. And there's a proper channel in them returning back to work, which is the occupational health route, where they will go and see their company doctor, and then that one can then declare them to work or not. People with mental illness is not a reason for someone not to be able to work. I have colleagues that suffer from mental disorder, that have bipolar depression, and they are still able to function perfectly. So it should not be a reason for an employee or an employer to be fired from their job, as long as they can continue to engage with their treatment and management.
Okay, someone is asking, I'm just going to pin this. How best can you
manage?
How best can one manage junior colleagues who tend to hide behind certain privileges at workplace, thus leaving work to suffer?
Okay, so there's no excuse for, my brother says this every time, there's no excuse for bad behavior. So if this has been highlighted that these junior colleagues actually intentionally leaving work to suffer, then that should be approached by the appropriate channel, which is via HR supervision. I think there should be, if the proper organizational structure, the manager should just let this person know that this is the concerns we are having. That is one. But if there are other concerns that are underlying this, like mental health or emotional or stressful situation, you know, when we're saying mental health, some people might think, oh, maybe the person is on the street naked. No,
yeah,
it doesn't have to
exactly.
be
Yeah,
like that.
and
It
here in
might just
Nigeria, we attach spirituality to it a lot.
exactly. That's
Yeah.
another big ball game. That's another. So, poor sleep,
Yeah.
insomnia, anxiety, all these things, they are mental disorders that can affect people. So, yes, if you are able to rule this out and say this person doesn't have anything like this, then the appropriate channel should be followed, which is where manager should speak to them and then escalate if required, if the client does not change. But yeah.
I have one more question here for you. It says,
Stigmatization can lead to mental problems. Is that a question? Yeah.
I think if I should rephrase that, can stigmatization lead to mental problem?
Yes, it can. It can. See, stigmatization just means that I won't say lead to, but it could make it worse because the stigma is meaning that people are don't want it doesn't people are
It's
not
not the
encouraged
normal.
to.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're not encouraged. They don't feel comfortable talking about it. So they suffer in silence. And it can make something that is originally small grow big, can deteriorate further because the person is like, oh, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to speak it because they're going to be looking at me somehow. And then it can progress, like progress further. That is why you see a lot of suicide out there. That people don't just go suicidal in a day. They
Yeah,
might
it
have been
takes a while
depressed
for
for,
someone to
yeah,
gather up
they
the
start
courage
from,
to, yeah.
yeah, it starts from low mood, depression, feeling of hopelessness, and then eventually then doing something. So if that person had gotten the help required at the early stage, kindness, support from work, support from colleagues, support from family, faith, all those other factors, then it might not progress to the eventual sad event. If you understand what I'm saying.
I do.
So and about stigmatization, we need a lot of people who suffer from mental illness to speak out and say this is not a death sentence.
Yeah.
I am on medication and I'm fine. I'm still able to function. I talk to a therapist and I'm fine. I'm still able to. That would encourage other people to come out and say, well, this is not a death sentence. Then I will be able, the help is available out there. I told you earlier, I have colleagues who have got bipolar and they function. They're fantastic doctors. So irrespective of any mental disorder, one can still achieve the maximum potential.
So we have another one for you. It says, as
Yeah.
much as amazing all this sounds, I think most Nigerian employers underestimate the importance of the employees' mental health.
Absolutely fine. There's no doubt about that. I think things will get better. We were not here 5, 10 years ago, but I think things will get better. The awareness, we're doing a lot of awareness, and you don't have to be a psychiatrist or an advocate like you to help. Everybody can be an advocate. Just be kind and talk about it and make people feel comfortable. Don't let's be judgmental, be inclusive, and be nice to each other and be very mindful of your choice of
Of
words.
words,
Yes,
yeah.
the companies, they still have a long way to go, but things are getting better. Things
I
are
think they
getting
will
really
need
better.
to have like a sensitization programs for employers and all of that, so they know what to put in place, the proper support to put in place for their employees.
We're talking about workplace here.
Yeah.
Even kindness needs to be within the politicians, within our leaders. They need to be kind so that if they are aware of this, then they can put in place policies that will help these companies put into their plan that emotional and mental well-being is fine. In my colleagues, we've been trying to get the Mental Health Act in Nigeria for a long time, which would
Yeah, I've
be
been
very
following it as
fantastic.
well.
Yeah, yeah. So hopefully, if things will change and we'll get there, let's just keep working hard and doing our part.
I have one more question for you. I don't know if our viewers do. Please, if you have questions, please feel free to leave them below. So with the
Yeah.
whole COVID-19, people staying at home and not
Mhm.
going to work, how is it going to be the transition process going back to work? Because I personally, I found it hard staying at home and not being active. But now I can't imagine myself going back to work and actually following the routines and all of that. I feel it's going to be another process for me to get used to. How do you
Yes,
think the
it will be.
transition process is going to be when the whole COVID is gone and the
You know,
impact is still there?
okay, this is a very fantastic question. COVID-19 is another session that can take us another hour on its own to talk about. But let me answer your question. The thing is that a lot of our routine has scattered.
I
We
know.
we are let me tell you my own personal experience when this
Okay.
thing started. And that's when I realized that I can be watching all these series. I can be watching all these series that I've never watched in a long
Which
time.
is good. At least you took a
Well,
break
yeah, I took a
from the
break,
work.
but I was staying awake till 3, 4 a.m. because I knew I wasn't physically going to go into work the following
Yeah.
day. And then that then altered my whole cycle,
Yeah.
sleep cycle and stuff. So I agree with you. We've all shifted away from what normalcy is.
Yeah.
Then how do we go back?
Back to normal. If
The
there
thing
is
is that
normal.
if there is no more, yeah, the thing is that at some point COVID-19 would go away.
Yes.
Next year, 2 years time, hopefully when there's a vaccine. Don't be too optimistic. It might be.
You said 2 years.
So
That was too long, but okay. I was thinking from next
I think.
year.
Well, I mean, don't mind me. At least until when we have a vaccine,
Like,
you
yeah,
see.
hopefully, yeah.
Yeah. So but before then, what do we do? Now that we know that various countries and various governments are trying to ease lockdown gradually, we need to start being proactive and start thinking that, okay, at some point, it will get to the stage whereby some form of normalcy will return. So what you can do is you can start trying to go back to what your routine was pre this season. The first important thing that you need to regularize is your sleep. You need to make sure you just sort that, back to bed at the normal time and wake up at the normal time. And then gradually everything will fall in place. Gradually, gradually, gradually. It's important to pace yourself and you are prepared mentally first. You understand? So you can't just say, okay, work is back on Monday and you think everything. No, you need a plan, a gradual plan for you to rewire your whole system back. We all have a lot of work to do around that as well. Me myself, I'm guilty as well.
I don't think any more questions are coming in, but in general, do you have any message for us and advice and ways we can improve our mental health?
Yeah, I
Something to
think
hold on to.
yeah, yeah, I think this particular time that we are in, the very unprecedented times with the COVID-19. this theme of kindness has been chosen particularly
Yeah.
for this reason, that we need to be kinder to ourselves. You know, as a psychiatrist, I normally tell my clients that go out there, interact with people, and do things so that you're not socially isolated. But they're telling us to lock down now, to stay at home, to
Yeah.
isolate ourselves. So the first big thing I want to say is that though they're telling us to lock down, but we can still connect with the three F's: the family, the friends, and the
Okay.
faith. Yeah.
Family, friends,
So
and faith. Okay. Yeah. Three
yes,
F's.
with this social media, what we're doing. The other day, I was on a WhatsApp house party, and
Mm.
this night, yes, before 3 or 4 weeks ago, my friend that is a DJ did some clubbing on Instagram. We're all there playing.
Yeah.
You know, so the fact that we're staying at home does not mean we should isolate ourselves. Just
Mm.
talk to faith. Our faith is important. The family, you can trust them, and friends, that you can trust them as well. So very, very important. And also another thing that, sorry if I'm taking too much time, but these are very
No,
important
it's
things.
fine. We still have time. It's fine.
Okay. So during this period of lockdown, there's seen a lot of increase in domestic violence as well,
Mm.
because
Okay.
people who unfortunately suffer from this, from either partners or parents or whatever, and they are being told to remain in the same household. They
It's the
can't go
abuser.
out. Some of them, exactly. Some of them, the workplace has been their outlet, or church, or mosque, or the
Yeah.
weekend Owambe party or
Just going
something.
for a drive or something. The
I'm
change of
telling you,
scenery.
now we can't do that.
Yeah.
The take-home message is that we all have a role to play. If you have any index of suspicion that anybody can be in a difficult situation, check on them, message them. There is help available there. Reach out to trusted professionals so that they can help you. Another thing I want to touch on, if we still have a bit of time, is that we should be mindful. We should be, it's kindness that is the theme. So it's
Yeah.
needed to be, we need to be kind to ourselves so that we don't pick up life-changing habits during this lockdown period. There's every temptation that you think you are home, you can have a little bit of drink there, you can drink some alcohol more than normal or things like that. Sorry, Alaja, but I need to.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's
These
fine.
are practical things. So people are picking up a lot of bad habits during this time. So it's important that you're aware that any habit you pick up can give you lifelong medical problems, diabetes, hypertension, and all. And for those working at home, they should make sure that they try to mobilize and not sit down somewhere for the 8 hours. I think we're having a lot of questions. So are there comments?
I'm trying to go through them, but I pinned one down already for you.
Okay.
It
What
said,
about those with no exposure to social media? What it's not only by social media, but there will be phone. The person will have at least, I think, minimal. A lot of people have WhatsApp now where you can chat, or phone call, or text messages. If you don't have that, if you have a neighbor that you can be talking to yourself from your window. I saw this. Oh, seriously, in Italy at the
yeah.
beginning of the long term,
Yeah, I
did you
saw
see
it.
that
Yeah.
thing that they were singing from
I
their
saw it.
corridors?
It was really,
We have
really
to,
nice. It was
we
really, really
have to.
nice.
These are changing times. We have to be creative.
Creative,
We have
exactly.
to be
Yeah.
very, very, very creative and think. See, this look. If you look inward, you might just discover that hidden talent that you've had all this way. Yeah, if I started reading novels, I started reading things. You get knowledge. You can choose to learn a new language and things like that. So we might be locked down, but don't lock yourself down.
It can
If you
be,
get what I'm saying.
there are still positives to it because it's a
Absolutely,
time you can just sit down, breathe, and just reevaluate everything.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any more questions from there?
I think we're done with the questions. Yeah, I think we're done with them. Uh, okay, we've answered that.
Yeah, people that are parents, teachers, just if the kids, as long as they can speak, they can understand, and they can retain this information, just share with them during this week that, oh, what do they understand by the act of kindness? Um, nice to your brother, be nice to your sister, be nice to your neighbors, be nice to your
Be
colleagues
nice and
as,
be nice
as
to yourself
well.
as well. At times we beat ourselves
Most
up a lot of
importantly,
time. Yeah.
that's the most important. We are the number one. We need to be selfish a little bit and be
Yeah,
nice
we
to
need to.
ourselves.
Yeah. It's very important because Coach Sam mentioned something yesterday that I really picked up. He said you have to be able to say no, and
Yes.
it doesn't come from a bad place. It's just you looking out for yourself and not going out of what's it called, your abilities and what you can handle. Yeah. So it's
Yeah,
really nice.
absolutely.
We need to be selfish at times, but it's just like not too much.
Yeah, sounds very true about the habits. I personally think that things might never be the same again, but we can just try to move. Absolutely. We need to start thinking about how we adapt. With the habits, we need to be very mindful. A lot of them can be very dangerous and be very detrimental to us. But we need to know that at least the nose covering, hand gloves, social distancing will be with us for probably the next year or so.
Yeah. I think we are more conscious of our hygiene now, so it's a good thing. I think there are a few
Yeah.
positives we can take from the whole COVID pandemic.
Okay, the major challenges we have here in Nigeria on this COVID is absolutely stigmatization. Yes, and do you know why there's a lot of stigma around it? Is because there's no cure. Any disease any condition that there's no cure or no vaccine about it, there will be stigma. But what we need is that we need a top-down, extensive, massive awareness program, and people that have suffered this illness to come out and say, and have survived it, to come out and say it's not a death
It's not a
sentence.
bad sentence.
And statistics has shown that majority of people will have it and they won't even have any
Yeah,
symptoms.
they'll be
Some
asymptomatic. Yeah.
people will have mild to moderate symptoms. And so the people that will die are actually very, very, very small. So it is very, very important that people who have suffered should come out and let us know that this is their experience and it's not a death sentence.
So we have one. There are people who stay alone and has been dealing with anxiety since this whole thing started. Nothing interests
Mm.
them anymore. What would you
Mm.
advise them to do?
Okay, I was on this table before as well. We all had some. In fact, if anybody says they were not anxious at one point or the other during this pandemic, I will not believe the person
I was.
because
I can say I
yeah,
was. Yeah.
yeah. So we need to first figure it out that anxiety is on a broad scale, from
Okay.
mild to very, very severe. Some people can cope with very mild anxiety, while severe is very has physical health manifestation and all. What drives anxiety during this lockdown? Probably because we're listening to too much of news and there are a lot
Mm.
of fake news there. You are overwhelmed with negative information. You are
Information.
counting the death tolls every day, death tolls
Mm.
every day. I was doing that as well. I
Yeah.
was watching news a lot, and so it's very, very important that we just stick to one news channel and accredited and reliable
Yeah.
source
Yeah.
and stick to it. And with anxiety, I always refer to the worry tree there's this worry tree that I really like. The worry tree says that if you have anything negative you're thinking about, if you can do something about it, yes, make an action plan. But if you can't do anything about it, why worry about it?
Mm.
There's no need to worry.
Why worry? Yeah.
So, yeah. But if your anxiety are entrenched or related to experience, with life events that people have had do impact on their mood and emotion. So, if the anxiety are really, really interfering with your day-to-day life, then you need to probably get help from a professional.
All right then. I think that's all the questions we have. We all should make use of this time to get closer to Allah and get to know one's true self, talents, and to acquire skills which will be beneficial once the pandemic is over. Yeah, very true. Well,
Absolutely. We did touch
yeah,
about that. Yeah.
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 All right then. Any final
Yeah.
words,
So
message
I
for
think
us?
I think a lot of people have heard us talking about a lot of things
Yeah.
tonight. If they want to, they can reach out and send out to me this week. We are offering free assessment to people who really need it.